I had a good talk with some dental hygienists about this. One of the things that we talked about in our show previously, we said that Nova Scotia has a dental plan. It's called the Children's Oral Health Program for children 14 and younger, and then also individuals with special needs. They also classify. So that covers dental x-rays, exams, fluoride treatments, scaling, fillings, and necessary extractions. And so something I learned too through this, scaling, when you hear about that, the units of scaling, that's time. Mm-hmm. So it's 15-minute time increments. So you get 30 minutes in the chair, however long it takes to do the x-rays, however long it takes to do the fluoride. They count it all together, usually about an hour. There's an article that came out in the Halifax Examiner talking about the new dental program that's been offered by the federal government. They said that only 6 dentists in the whole province of Nova Scotia have actually signed up for this.
Woo!
And so it's interesting when you see Freeland and Trudeau get up there, and that was one of the things that Trudeau tried to put out there as a dunk against Poilievre most recently. He was like, we have 1 million seniors going for dental care and blah, 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 the talking point.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the dental plan that's only offered to people who are over 70 and make under 90K a year, which, if you're over 70, that's not hard to achieve. Yeah. I mean, you're usually living off of your pension, Canada pension, and a mix of savings and retirement funds. But what's interesting is that what was highlighted to me was the administrative burden for this program is so much so that the dentists are like, no, we don't want it. We're not going to take those patients because they've already been kind of complaining a little bit about taking on the patients that the province already funds. So the under 14 and the special needs patients, because they said that like basically the government, what they do is they go off of what they deem as the billing codes and how much money that is going to be. And in some cases, the billing code that they use is outdated by a year or two. And so the dentists themselves will lose out on that money. And they're just like, well, it's not as profitable of a patient, so we don't like doing them. We'll do them anyway, and just, I don't know if it's law or just good practice by dentists where they don't charge the extra to the patients because they're kids. And I'm like, that's pretty good, but, also relying on the system to, out of the goodness of their heart, treat people and just eat the cost. Like, it's kind of dicey. Mm-hmm. But one of the big things with this federal plan is the fact that they are rumored to be using 2018 prices for 2024 treatments.
Gee.
And there's a copay model to it as well. So the idea that dental care is like somehow all covered and you're great and you go in, you get your teeth cleaned and you're good to go. That's not the case. So what happens is they cover up to a certain portion and then you have a copay with it. Mm-hmm. And that copay can be anywhere from 40 to 60%. And so then what happens is that the patient comes out thinking that they've got everything covered, and the dental administrator goes, actually, you owe this amount, and your teeth were super bad. So the 2 or 3 scalings amount that you were allotted for actually don't even cover all the extra stuff that we did. So you actually owe an even larger amount as well as your copay. And dentists are going like, how are we going to get that out of people? Mm-hmm. They're already at a disadvantaged situation where they have to access the federal program. How are we then going to claw this extra money out of folks?
Yeah.
And they don't want to be hounding people for money from folks. Like, who wants to be the person who's knocking down an old lady's door going, hey, you actually owe us $272. Please pay.
I mean, just call the CRA. You'll find a couple people who want to do that. Yeah.
But it's not dentists. Yeah. It's not dentists who want that. Exactly. So they're saying that they don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. So they said the administrative burden of like going through all the paperwork of trying to get somebody, direct billed and the payment process for that, and going through the government programming to actually make that person qualify. They don't want to do that extra work, which rightfully so, because they've already announced that they have a shortage of staff. They have a shortage of dental hygienists, a shortage of dentists, and a shortage of administrators. And so they're like, we're already short. We're already running on a skeleton crew. Why would we administer this program? And I'm just like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But yet Ottawa and Sun Life, that's who's offering it, good old Sun Life. They're like, nope, it's great. It's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. And these dentists are just greedy, and they just need to get on board.
Yeah. That's typically the strategy of this government in any program they've put out, that they've had to partner with industry, where if the industry says there's some problems you have to think through and address, and they're just like, no, you suck. That's what our solution is, and you're just going to get on board with it. And that's kind of the answer here as well. And I'm glad the dentists are pushing back and making people aware of this, because like it even happened with the pharmacare stuff, where it's like it's not even rolled out, but they're doing victory laps on it as if it's been going on for years. And it's like, yeah, it's been a great program. People are using it. No one's using it. This ain't even rolled out. This thing's a joke. Like, what are we doing here? And the same thing is happening here with dental. And they're going to try and paint. You think it's a good political strategy to paint dentists as the bad guys? Good luck with that. And see how that goes.
Well, they've already done it with doctors. Like with the
how did it go?
The extra tax, right? Mm-hmm. So they keep painting our professional class as being these evil, money grubbing, like horrible people. They did it with landlords before that. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm starting to question now, like, how many of these individuals, like, I'll be honest, like seeing the Loblaws profit margins continue to go up and up and up. I'm not crazy about that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm like, how much of this is just political blame shifting? And, they're really actually to blame. So that, I don't know, the way that they're like brandishing everybody and their dog as being, racist, evil, anti-climate, everything. And you're like, I'm just a dentist, bro. I don't want to work for free.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does it do? What does it do? We talked about it. They've done it to our healthcare professionals. They've done it to landlords. They're now doing it to dentists. They're kind of dragging people through the mud over not wanting to like bend to the will of the government. But like when it's all said and done, and say they're successful in really just getting the public to be against these people, what happens to a society when that happens? Everyone just kind of becomes homogenous and becomes like the same almost. And then like they only do the jobs that they're supposed to do to whatever, to the satisfaction of the government. And like what happens to a society when that happens?
You get lower productivity is what happens. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because there was a TikToker that I was watching, and he was like, we talk a big talk about communism. He said, I come from a communist country. And he's like, I'm looking at what's happening. And he's like, this is how you create communism. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah. You first, you discredit your working professionals, your intellectuals, and the rich, and then once you get them out of the way, either by horrific means in the past or these now like cancel campaigns in the future, like, and we're seeing the exodus of equity. We're seeing the exodus of like the brain drain, and folks who are self-starters and ingenious people and inventive people just leaving. And that's not what we want. Mm-hmm.
And that's the path. And I appreciate you kind of bringing it up, because it's no longer the boogeyman of the right wing anymore, of like, communism, where we're going. They want to do this to our gas. Communism. Like that was always kind of the joke over the past, 30, 40 years. It was always like, well, we're going to go to communism. But no, it's at our doorstep now. The trend that things are going now, it's like it's getting ugly out there, and it's not fun. And when you're relying on your food banks to feed your people, you tell me what that looks like. That was electric, wasn't it? Well, we enjoyed it. Hope you did too. If you did, you can check this video out here to the top right corner, right near my window. Get over. There it is. There it is, right there. And if you liked that, you can also check this one right here. We love you. Have a good one. Peace out.